From LALATE News headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Mornings LALATE.
It's a big morning of Mornings LA with incredible great news about your fourth stimulus check update of 2022. Live and direct from the shores of Santa Monica, California, as not one, not two, but three stimulus checks have now landed. A $6,500 check, a $15,000 to $80,000 fourth stimulus check, and an MSC check, baby. We're going to go over how to get these big checks from fourth stimulus and third stimulus that have now landed. It's huge, and they're in this broadcast live this morning. Then we're going to start back with the Build Back Better Act. A lot of breaking developing details. $15,000 to $80,000 of checks in there, and major economic data that came in the last few hours that signals that Build Back Better will get passed very quickly. Then we'll be looking at the situation on that SS300. Jay Powell coming in more aggressively, and one of his Fed governors speaking in just minutes. Could this raise your opportunity for SS300 or reduce the opportunity for it? All the latest details in today's recording. Then we'll be looking at sixth stimulus heating up. That is that Putin-caused stimulus for recession. We'll be looking at seventh stimulus. That is student loan debt forgiveness. What you need to know about that. Fifth stimulus for seniors and everything else across the land. We got a big broadcast from the shores of Santa Monica, California today. A lot of money. And the big money starts with those three checks. Get your pen and paper ready because we're going to go over each of those three checks. We're going to go over the economic data that impacts you, like oil, wheat, and grain, that signals whether they're going higher or going lower. It's a big broadcast and a lot of money, but first up are those three checks. Lots of it, as the toast is toasting, the butter is buttering, and the coffee is brewing, and the checks are landing. With bacon, no, there's no side of bacon involved. But, we try so hard here. At least maybe they'll have reoccurring bacon under the 20th stimulus package. Those details and more as we go into a big morning's broadcast live on air for April 4th, 2022. It's a big day. It's a big payout day. Lots of checks, lots of money, and lots of breaking financial news. It's Mornings LA with everything you need to know from the shores of Santa Monica, California. Let's get to it. Let's get to the deliciousness. Let's get to mornings, starting right now. Hey, good morning, everybody. Hope you're having a beautiful day. And it's a gorgeous day here along the coast, Santa Monica, California, with incredible breaking news about your fourth stimulus check updates of 2022. Stay with me just a second. I'm going to go over how to get those big checks. First, become a member, but they're coming up later in this video. Big checks. Get your pen and paper ready. I'm going to go over them later in this broadcast. But first, we're going to start with the Build Back Better Act, which is signaling its push to the finish line, potentially in the next 30 days. There's a lot of checks in there. We're going to go over those checks first, and then we'll go over the breaking news behind Build Back Better new for today. About $15,000 to $80,000 of checks Build Back Better Act pays you across three classes and three add-ons of checks. All featured tonight in primetime on America's most watched show for financial news in primetime. It's Evenings LA at 5 o'clock. Let's go to that first cluster of checks. Hazard pay. One more year of the earned income tax credit for my essential workers. Then $3,600 for the CTC, the children's checks, one more year. $4,000 of elder care, got it in there. $4,000 of care for young children, got in as well. And then money for the college students, $550 Pell Grant check. $12,500 for the purchase of a new electric vehicle. Wow. And then home repairs, if you live in a low-income community. The first of three add-ons of checks to the Build Back Better Act is this one. A little bit less than $25,000 for the purchase of your first home. Wow. Got in there via Maxine Waters. The second cluster of checks in the Build Back Better bill, not law, still in the Senate, is this. Paid leave. How much is that? That is a lot. $4,000 to $6,000 per year. And then home repairs. Home repairs to weatherize your home. Hold up, folks. Big surprise right there. You see the graphic, but now take your fingers and pull it out, because that's what Joe Biden did. He took the home repairs to weatherize your home and took them out. A Build Back Better bill, the bill, and made them law by executive branch, and they are check number A on our graphic. Oh, yes. Check number A is now law because the president took it out of Build Back Better bill, made it law by executive branch on March 31st. Oh, how do you get that check? How do you get B? How do you get C? They're coming up later in this video. Stay with me. Get your pen and paper ready. We go over each of those checks. Let's go back now to where we were in Build Back Better. In that second cluster check, the other checks in there stay in there, which are paid leave, $46,000 per year. Let's go to second add-on of checks. A little bit less than $250 billion for free home health care for seniors and people on disability got in there. How do you get these checks? They're all on Evenings LA tonight in prime time, 5 o'clock Pacific, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I look forward to seeing you then. Let's go to that third cluster checks. Free internet for all checks, farmers checks, independent contractors checks, and seniors checks in that third cluster. Seniors getting a lot of checks. They're getting the dental checks, the vision checks, the hearing checks, the Medicaid gap fix checks for those 12 Republican workaround states, the lowering the eligibility age of Medicare checks from 65 to 55, which is par for the course when we're talking about adding checks to this recon. The other checks that they represent, they would add to the Build Back Better bill is MSC, baby. MSC, that monthly IRS stimulus check. That monthly IRS stimulus check, oh, it's huge. How much? Who gets it? Let's go over the details of it. Build Back Better bill, the legislators represent they would put an IRS monthly stimulus check in there. Single individual, $75,000 less, you get it. Married couple, $150,000 less, you get it, double it. And a family of 4, quadruple it. These are MSC checks for stimulus Build Back Better bill, not law. Not law. And they are $2,000 a first month, $1,000 thereafter, represent the legislators to the viewership of this channel. But here's the surprise. While forced stimulus is not law, these checks, A, B, and C, are law. A, taken out of forced stimulus, now law. B, taken out of forced stimulus, now law. And C, an MSC check, now law under third stimulus. Oh boy, how do you get those big checks? They're coming up in just a second. Let's turn to the other developing detail today, which is the situation unfolding about SS300. The situation for SS300 is very fascinating. What's at issue? What's at issue is that Joe Biden's promised to swap your COLA for inflation. And by swapping your COLA for inflation, it would raise your benefits up in $200 a month. Not just this month, not just this year, but a lifetime, a generation. But there's part of that equation that needs to be analyzed. And that part of the equation is Jay Powell. He's head of the Federal Reserve. His job is to reduce inflation. So you want Joe Biden to make the swap for COLA to inflation right today. Why? Because inflation is as high as price point of a generation, as I predicted. 8% December, yes, I predicted that. 8% January, 8% February, 8% right now. Likely a little bit more because the bond traders are trading up the notes day in, day out. But then there comes Jay Powell. Jay Powell's job is to reduce inflation. How does he do it? By raising interest rates. He said he was going to raise the interest rates in March at a quarter basis point at the first March FOMC meeting. He did. But then days later, he said, I need to maybe come in more aggressively, as Boulard and Wallace and other Fed governors said, come in more aggressively. More aggressively is a half basis point. Here's where we are right today at the time of today's recording for April 4th, 2022. Wall Street analysts and myself are in agreement that we all believe that Jay Powell will do 2 half basis point increases at the next 2 FOMC meetings. Ouch. That's not SS200, folks. That's SS150 or 175, because that's likely to bring down inflation very quickly to, let's say, 6%, not 8%, not 7%. So you want Joe to make that swap from COLA to inflation right today. Now, here's what's also new. Is that there has been a lot of economic data in the last 24 hours, in the last 7 days, that all signals that the same thing is happening. The economy is not as strong as some analysts are predicting. I'm going to show you each of these data points that came out, and I'm going to go over hit or miss. Hit or beat or miss. What does that mean? A beat means, for example, they were predicting 10,000 new jobs created, and it came in at 20,000. It's a beat. It was higher than expected. Let's say they were predicting 10,000 new jobs and came in at 5,000 new jobs. That's a big miss. So let's go over each of these data points, but here's the collective answer. Is there a miss, after miss after miss. Let's go over the data right today. First, the White House and Jay Powell saw this data point coming in overnight. And this was the non-farm payroll job creation number released on Friday. And we were looking at 490,000 jobs created. What do we get? 431,000. Ouch, that's a big miss. Missing by 60,000 jobs. Then, we're looking for unemployment to drop dramatically. Last month, did it drop dramatically? No. It missed again, 3.6 million, 3.6% decline. We're looking at a bigger decline across the board. Then, we're looking for the unemployment numbers for Thursday. Miss? Yes, another miss. 200,000 new jobs were individuals unemployed for the first time last Thursday. That's another miss. Then we had the GDP, the gross national product number, showing how big the economy is growing. We're looking at 7%, 7.1%. Where did it come in at? 6.9%. Miss. Then we have the housing starts. Miss, 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 miss. 4 months in a row, the housing starts, which refers to housing sales, down month after month, 4 months in a row. This is as the 30-year mortgage rate to its highest level since the 1980s. Major miss. The data keeps on coming in across the board. The collective sentiment is that the data is all misses. If it's all misses, and if the economics show that the economy is not as strong as initially thought, this is good for Build Back Better. And it's also good for SS300. Let's go over the analysis right now. It's important to understand where we are right now, because if the data signals that the economy is a little bit weaker or a lot weaker, then what does this mean for you and your money? Number one, if the data shows that the economy is weaker, then what happens? Number one is that if the economy is weaker, the Democrats will signal that they'll support Build Back Better more than ever before, because the way economics work with stimulus is that if the economy is weaker, we need more stimulus. Pretty simple. Number two, it'll signal that Jay Powell may not have to come in at half basis point for 2 consecutive meetings, because if he does, that's too aggressive if the economy is weaker. Wow, there you go. And we're just getting started. So where are we right now? Build Back Better Act. Joe Manchin certainly said just less than a week ago he's ready to negotiate on it. If this data continues to trend downward with weaker data, Democrats are going to get Build Back Better done faster. If Jay Powell sees this data where the economy is weaker day in, day out, he may not do 2 half basis points. Better news for that SS300. That is great news for you across all fronts. Now, what about that 6th stimulus? Well, 6th stimulus is to battle recession. But is that recession still brewing with all this bad economic data? All the latest details on 6th stimulus in the second half of this video. It is the biggest stimulus package of a generation. Then we'll be looking at that 7th stimulus, which is student loan debt forgiveness. The president has put in place a May 2nd date for that student loan debt forgiveness. And then we'll be looking at the developing details of 5th stimulus. Will it heat up with that benefits reform for my seniors across the land? But first, here's a preview of the big checks. I'm very excited for you. 3 checks. You heard me right. Not 1, not 2, but 3 checks have now landed. First, a $6,500 check has landed. It is a 4th stimulus check. Have people gotten it? They have gotten it. A 4th stimulus check became a law on March 31st. It was covered early in this video. That is that weatherizing your home check. It was taken out by Joe Biden from the Build Back Better Act on March 31st. It became a law. So huge. Get ready for the second half and get your pen and paper ready right now. I'm going to show you how to get this $6,500 check from 4th stimulus. Number 2. A 4th stimulus check, a $15,000 to $80,000 check, has now landed. It's a March 4th debut, and it's been live for 5 weeks now. Have viewers gotten it? They have gotten it. How much? They're averaging about $66,000 to $80,000. I'm going to show you in the second half of this video how to get that 4th stimulus check. And then that MSC check, C. Oh, baby. Averaging about $2,000 a month for 12 months. Yes, this is more than those 4th stimulus checks. For 6 months, it is $7,000. This is 12 months at about $24,000, but a lot of viewers are averaging about 45,000. Many viewers are getting over $150,000 for this. How do you get these 3 checks? I'm going to go over each of them one at a time. But first, before the commercial break, become a member, because that is where you get the information. That is where you pounce. That is where you apply. Become a member. Go to the front of this channel or under the pinned comment or at the top of the chat and click the link to become a member. Then you get that incredible newsletter, the biggest newsletter of its kind in America, delivered Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and 9 o'clock Central Standard Time via the YouTube alerts. Not sent by email, not sent by Weibo check, not sent with a head of bacon. It's delivered via the YouTube alerts. Go to the front of this channel and make sure you hit that bell to turn all alerts to on. Not personalized, but all. Then make sure you're subscribed as well, and certainly become a member. All those big checks coming up that's second half of this video. Then we'll be looking back at Build Back Better and the breaking news about that front and how it's going to get done. Then 5th stimulus, 7th stimulus, that student loan debt forgiveness, and 6th stimulus. A lot of changing parts on what happened with Germany and what happened in the United States and what the president said and didn't say about oil. Is oil going down to its lowest level of a generation, or is that Iranian deal off? Plus, we'll have a preview of tonight's evening's LALATE broadcast and primetime, folks. It's a big show tonight for April 4th, 2022. You don't want to miss it. It's coming up tonight. All that and more. But first, during the commercial break, make sure you become a member. I'll see you back in 60 seconds as Mornings LA from the shores of Santa Monica continues and heats up. But first, here's a little bit about the members community page. Reach out to them if you have questions and you're a member. I'll be back with you in 60 seconds as Mornings LA continues. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on Mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues on a big morning's broadcast from April 4th, 2022. Are you excited? I'm excited. Look at all the incredible members who became members during the commercial break. Welcome to Esperanza and also to Jennifer as well. There was also another member who joined before that. There's 4 members that have already joined in the last 2 minutes of this video. On average, this channel is averaging about 50 new members per video in recent days. So absolutely, you want to pounce and get these big sums of money. In the second half of this video, we're going to go over the latest developing details about 6th stimulus. That is that Putin-caused stimulus. Then we'll go over to that oil situation. Is the president getting a deal with Iran or is he not? Is the price of gasoline going down? We'll be looking at that student loan debt forgiveness, that 7th stimulus, and then back to 4th and 5th. But first, of course, we're going to start with those big checks. Are you ready? I'm ready. Those 3 checks, which are now law, and they're paying out. Get your pen and paper ready. This is where you want to take notes. We're going to go over each of those 3 checks starting right now. Here's the graphic. 3 checks are now law, and they're huge. $6,500 check became law on March 31st. $15,000 to $80,000 check became law on March 4th. And $24,000 check became law 2021. We're going to go over each of these checks one at a time. But here's what you need to know before we start. You qualify for at least one of these 3 checks and may qualify for all 3. Oh boy, baby. Here we go. Let's go to that first check A starting right now. A $6,500 check became law March 31st. Now, First, the amount. In some states, it's actually a lot more. Some states have elected to pay upwards of $12,000. Number two, where is this? Well, you saw this earlier in this video. This is a fourth stimulus check. It's law. The president made it a law by executive branch. He has that authority to make it a law. He took it out of Build Back Better bill, which is not law, and made it a law on March 31st. So this has only been live for a few days. Number three, what is it called? It's called the Homeowners Weatherizing Grant Check. As a grant, it means you do not have to pay it back, and it's not a loan. You don't have to take a credit check. Now, there you go. Who gets it? Let's go over the income qualification. So simple. Same as a third stimulus check. Single individual, $75,000 less, you get it. Married couple, $150,000 less, you can get it. And if you're on benefits, like you're a senior on Social Security or a veteran on veterans benefits, you can get it as well. What's the last eligibility? Yes, you have to own a home. Now, if you're a renter, stay with me because that's check number C coming up in a second. If you're a homeowner, do not worry about the definition of home, just apply. So don't worry whether it's mobile home or not mobile home or single family, just go to the application apply. It'll tell you whether you qualify or not. Number two, don't worry about the definition of weatherizing because weatherizing confuses some people. And guess what? It means a lot of different things in different places. For example, there's no tornadoes in Southern California, so we don't have that type of weatherizing here. Just apply. Weatherizing means different things in different states. They'll define it differently. So how do you apply? How do you apply? You become a member, and when you open that newsletter, right under the top line that features the oil, wheat, and grain prices today, it'll feature Check A, which is the Weatherizing Grant. You'll look for right at the top, it'll say the Weatherizing Homeowners Grant. You read about it, it'll go over more details about it, and then it'll give you the link to go right into the website to apply. First, you'll be routed to a federal website. Then you have to choose your state. Your state, then you'll see your respective state. Let's see, Tennessee. You click on Tennessee. And then you look for the Weatherizing Homeowners Grant in Tennessee. It'll say Tennessee Homeowners Weatherizing Grant or Alabama Weatherizing Homeowners Grant. That's actually what it says. It's very, very simple. And then you click and you apply. And you pounce, Purple Hawks, live since March 31st. Get that incredible check today. That is check number A. So simple. Now let's go to check B. If you understood A, then B is just about the same way. B looks like A, but it's different. B became law March 4th, so it's been law for about 5 weeks. It will run out of money. That's why you want to become a member right today. Get that application on file because every day that passes, thousands of people get in front of you in line. Let's go for check B right now. Take notes right now. Here's check B. First, the amount, $15,000 to $80,000, a lot more than A. And then the average value of this channel is getting about $66,000 to $80,000. They're tracking on the high end. Number two, is this a fourth stimulus check? It is. Did it become a law? It did. By Congress? No. By the President, again, United States. He did by executive authority. What is this called? This, for purposes of this video, is called the Homeowners Grant Check. But when you open the membership newsletter, it's right under A's check. It's the B check, and it's right there. And it's called the Homeowners Grant Check, but it'll have a longer name. You'll see the number, 15 to 80,000. You'll recognize it right then. And then it'll give you more about what you can use the funds for. You can use them for more than just weatherizing. You can do them for things like home repairs and other items as well. Who can get these checks? Same people who got the A check. Single individual, $75,000 less, you can get it. Married couple, $150,000 less, you can get it. If you're on benefits like Social Security or veterans benefits, you can get it. And do you have to own a home? Yes. Stay with me if you're a renter. That's check number C for you. So what do, you click the link inside the newsletter. It'll send you right into the online application. You look at a map, and the map will show different states. You click your state like Tennessee, and you click the link, and it goes right in, and you apply. Again, you don't want to wait, because every day that you wait, thousands of people get in front of you in your state. The processing times slow down. The money starts to wear down and starts to slowly run out. You don't want to wait. Just apply. All right, let's go to check number C. Here comes the excitingness. Oh, boy. This is for everyone. I told you I have a check for everyone. C is for renters and homeowners. So if you're a homeowner, you can get A, B, and C. If you're a renter, you can get C. It's absolutely wonderful. Let's go over C right now if you want that check. All right. This, my friends, is a little bit different, but a lot more money. This is averaging about 24,000 to 45,000. Now, let me go over that number. Viewers who have gotten this MSC in the last 2 weeks are getting about $2,000 a month for 12 months. Whoa, that is a lot more than Build Back Better proposes. It only proposes 6 months of $7,000. This is 12 months at about $24,000. Now, viewers have gotten these checks since last year, and they're averaging about $45,000. Many viewers have gotten over $150,000 from this. So how do you get it? First, what is the eligibility? Eligibility is the same as we've seen in A and B. Single individual, $75,000 less, you can get it. Married couple, $150,000 less, you can get it. And if you're on benefits, you can get it. Do you have to own a home? No. You can be a renter for check number C. There. Next, where did this check come from? It came from third stimulus, so it has been law since early 2021. Finally, how do you get the check? Do you go to a website like A and B's checks? No. You go to your telephone and you pick it up and start calling the following 6 places. Unlike A and B, where you go to a website to apply, for C, you pick up the phone and call. And who do you call? I'm going to show you right now. It's 6 places. Your city hall, your city housing authority, your county hall, and your county housing authority. 2 other places, your state hall and your state housing authority. That's to start. Now, if you're a member, you're going to be delivered in the membership newsletter 5 other plus places to reach out to that are the nonprofits. They're huge. That's the benefit of becoming a member again. Let's continue with the keywords you say. The keywords you say are rent assistance because of COVID. You do not say MSC or monthly stimulus check. You use the exact words featured in this video. Rent assistance because of COVID. Utility assistance because of COVID. Or mortgage assistance because of COVID. 3 things you must do. You must reach out to all places. So don't reach out to one place and stop, because there will be rejections. You may have upwards of 50% rejections, but you're also going to have 50% of approval on average. Then pull multiple applications on file. Don't just put one. And then get as many months as you can. That's where the MSCs came. Become a member. Why become a member? Because here you go. The membership newsletter features also the nonprofits. Those nonprofits do great stuff, like Alabama, Louisiana. I've done every state. Every state has money. When you include the nonprofits, every state has money. That's the benefit of becoming a member today. And there you go. Lean on the nonprofits, because the nonprofits pick up these sums of money. They also pick up things like nominal home repairs. Yeah, great stuff. Average view of this channel has gotten this money since early 2021 and is tracking at about $45,000. Get these big sums of money right today. Do not wait. You are deserving of this money. This, my friends, is the third stimulus MSC checks. Get these big checks today. There you go. 3 checks, A, B, and C. Let's recap and let's go over where you get these checks. A $6,500 home weatherizing grant check. B, a $15,000 to $80,000 home grant check. C, MSC checks from third stimulus. So where do you get them? You become a member. Go to the top of the chat, go to the description under the video, go to the pinned comment, and become a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Calcino VIP. And then you're delivered the members newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 9 o'clock Central Standard Time. The membership newsletter is delivered via YouTube alerts. That YouTube alerts, make sure you have all your alerts turned on. So go to the front of this channel, you'll see a bell. Click that bell, make sure you have alerts set to all on. Also ensure you're a subscriber, that's sort of obvious. And then watch for that YouTube alert Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Not sent by email, not sent by waivable check, not sent by waivable lobster, not sent by bacon, because there is no bacon. You know that. I know that. So become a member today. Let's go into the other developing details. And congratulations to new members who joined during this chat so far. How many new members so far? 4 new members, including Jennifer. And I think someone else just joined just a second ago. So congratulations to all the new members in today's chat so far. Let's continue where we are then on this horizon trajectory. First, let's look at that 7 stimulus. 7 stimulus is fascinating. 7 stimulus is heating up on May 2nd. How do we know? The president's told us so. President's told us so. On May 2nd, the president will make a determination of student loan debt. Why? Your debts have not had to be repaid during the pandemic, and that has been a frozen or moratorium, whatever you call it, freeze. That freeze is unfrozen on, yes, May 2nd, 2022. So the President's Chief of Staff, Ron Klain, says by May 2nd, we'll have three choices. And what are they? And what are my predictions? Choice number one, your debts are unfrozen. You have to start paying them back, and I'm not forgiving anything. Congratulations, enjoy your life. I don't think the President's going to do that. Scratch that one. Number two, May 2nd. I'm President of the United States, and I'm going to extend the moratorium another few more days or weeks because I haven't made up my determination about student loan debt. I think that's a possibility. Number three, start repaying your debt on May 2nd because I've forgiven the rest of it. Congratulations. I think that's a very real possibility. Why? Because a series of events have happened in the last few days. What are they? Joe Biden's education secretary under the Obama-Biden administration has spoken out. And what did he say? He said that Joe knows that he can forgive student loan debts because we put in place the law for it by executive branch during the Obama-Biden administration, and Joe knows he can do that. So I think this is a very real possibility. That real possibility is the following. That education secretary says that Joe Biden knows he can forgive student loan debts and should go do it by executive branch. Moreover, the person says, the former Obama-Biden education secretary, that if someone doesn't like it, what are they going to do? They don't have enough Republican votes in the Senate. Yes, if Biden forgave, let's say, $50,000 of student loan debts on May 2nd or, late April, there's not enough Republican votes to undo it. Wow, that is incredible news. Let's look then to this stimulus. That is that SSI reform. The removal of the benchmark to raise your benefits, Joe needs to do right now. But people have been asking, what about the remainder of his stimulus? There is nothing in place to get that done just yet. We don't have a bill on it. And you need a bill for removing the asset cap, removing the income cap, and removing the marriage penalty, which a lot of people always ask me about. That needs the actual fifth stimulus recon. Now let's go to that sixth stimulus recon. First, let's understand what sixth stimulus is. First stimulus was for COVID. Second was to be because of COVID. Third is coming out of COVID. Fourth is coming out of COVID. But six is to deal with recession and caused by Putin. What's at issue? Number one, oil. Number two, the commodities, wheat, grain, soybean. And number three, a potential default by Vladimir Putin. This is all Putin-caused stimulus. So where are we today for April 4th, 2022? Well, number one, the oil situation, very confusing. Number two, the wheat and grain situation getting more problematic. Let me go over the details right now. When you look at this sixth stimulus, you need to understand where it came from. It came week one of the Putin invasion of Ukraine. Anthony Blinken, your Secretary of State, reached out to Germany, France, said, get off of Russian products. They said no. They initially said no because they're too dependent upon them. So Blinken pushed back and then said, get off of them, you morally must do. And Germany, that normally does not subscribe to our economic beliefs, said yes. And then you had lined up the trifecta of Germany, France, and the United States with a potential deal by April because that's when Macron gets reelected potentially. And all looked good until last week when Germany said, you know what, we changed our mind. We're not getting off of Russian oil. Excuse me? Did I hear that right? Yes, that's what Germany said. We're not getting off of Russian oil. Did the president address it? He did not. Now, we had a deal for oil with Iran. What happened with that one? Let me tell you what's going on. First, let me give you an overview. My opinion right today is that sixth stimulus is still happening domestically, but internationally, it's getting a little bit more extenuous. It may not happen internationally. Why? Let's go over the oil situation. The oil situation involved an agreement to get oil flooding all international markets, and we don't have that. The President of the United States addressed the American people last Friday, saying, hey, what? I have a solution for you. I, as the President of the United States, have a solution to bring down the price of gasoline domestically. What did he say? He's going to release oil. We have something called the strategic reserves. That is gasoline the U.S. government owns. So he said we're going to release some of our gasoline domestically, 1 million barrels per day, every day for 6 months. That'll bring down the price of gasoline internationally, and you're going to see relief at the pump. True or false? False. Very, very, very false. That's not how gasoline works. Let's go over the details. You have 50 countries that buy gasoline, and 50 countries have a shortage of gasoline. because gasoline prices are determined by those shortages. If 50 countries don't have enough gasoline, the price of gasoline internationally for those 50 countries goes up. What happens if one of those 50 countries, like the US, says, I got some extra oil, I'll release it? Does the price of gasoline internationally for 50 countries go down where there's a shortage across 50 countries? No, of course not. Of course it doesn't go down. You got to get oil flooding the market to supply enough for the 50 countries so that there's not a shortage in 50 countries. What the President of the United States was announcing last Friday was releasing oil for the United States. It won't bring down our gasoline because how much you pay at the pump is not dependent upon how much the gasoline is available in the United States. It's dependent upon how much gasoline is available internationally. That's very, very simple, basic economics. So the president got this very wrong. Why did he say that? Well, ironically, during the press conference, he said, the good news is that we're releasing oil and our partner allies will as well, and that'll bring down the price of gasoline. It would. There he's saying it correctly. We're releasing oil, our partner allies are releasing oil as well. We'll all bring down the price of oil. Untrue. Also untrue. First, it's untrue because some countries don't have any oil. Italy has no oil to release. They have olive oil to release, and it's not going to help the price of gasoline at the pump because your car does not run on olive oil or any type of olive oil. So it's not going to work. That's number one. Number two, other countries don't have enough strategic reserves to release. We're not talking about Venezuela as our partner allies. We're talking about Germany that buys oil from Russia. So we don't have enough allies available to release oil. This is why this solution doesn't work. Now, here's what's troubling, is that when the President of the United States was addressing the American people, if you're a viewer of this channel for the last 2 weeks, you may have listened and said, wait a second. Why are you doing something with oil when you have a deal with Iran? Don't you have a deal with Iran? Elliott's been telling us about that deal with Iran for 2 weeks. Well, suddenly I wondered what happened to the deal with Iran. Did it fall apart? If you weren't a viewer, let me tell you what the deal was. The deal was negotiated between the United States and Iran via Germany as our negotiator to get millions of barrels released. And those millions of barrels released day in, day out, starting this month at 500,000 barrels, would bring down the price of gasoline to its lowest price point of the generation. So why did the president not mention that? Because he doesn't have a deal. When did he not have a deal? Well, I'll have that details in the evenings LA tonight. It's a breaking news developing detail at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. But at the time of today's recording, the deal is off. What happened to the deal? I'll show you tonight on evenings LA. So the president's not getting oil right for purposes of 6 stimulus. Is the president getting wheat and grain right? He's not either. If you go to the supermarket, you cannot afford a $6 loaf of bread. And if you have that loaf charged at $6 through the month of May, you go into recession. If your partner allies go to buy some pasta in Italy and it's $7 a loaf of pasta, I know it's not a loaf, $7 a loaf of bread in Italy, then guess what? They're going into recession. That's problem number 2, not solved by the White House. Problem number 3 is the potential default by Vladimir Putin tonight in prime time. Oh boy. Vladimir Putin has a $4 billion principal repayment due today, April 4th, and I think he's going to default. If he defaults, what happens to us? What happens to us is our U.S. banks have exposure and may have major line item losses. And if you don't get 6 stimulus, what happens? We go into recession. We go in recession, or are we in recession? My analysis tonight in Evenings LALATE is that we are already in recession. I believe that 2 industries in the U.S. economy are already in recession, and those 2 industries are the first of many other industries to head into recession. And if we head into recession, we're going to 2 years of recession. Moreover, in Evenings LA tonight, I'm going to tell you why a lot of analysts now believe that Jay Powell has it very wrong. I agree. They believe that because the economic data is weaker, with all those misses I just went over with you, if Jay Powell has it wrong and is coming in with 2 interest rate spikes at half basis point in the next 2 FOMC meetings, he's sending us into recession. A lot of analysts now believe you can choose higher inflation or you can choose recession. You can't choose both. But my opinion is that we're in recession with 2 industries and more to come. Boy, folks, we have a big broadcast tonight. But coming up next, I'm live on air at 11 a.m. with a new edition of Home LA. It's our fun show. The first half of this video of Home LA at 11 a.m. is about your money. Then the second half of this video at Home LA is about preparing for Easter, just days away. And it's also live interactive chat. So if you have questions about your money, you have questions about any of those 3 checks we just went over, tune in and jump into the live chat at 11 a.m. It's live on air today, April 4th, 2022. First, let's go over those 3 checks you want to get right today, because guess what? If a recession is looming, you want to stock up on as much checks as possible. A $6,500 homeowner's weatherizing grant check. B, a $15,000 to $80,000 homeowner's grant check. C, MSC checks for renters and homeowners. How do you get it? Become a member, as 3 or 4, maybe now it's 5 viewers did during this chat. Many shows almost 45 to 50 new members per video join. Oh, now it's 5. Oh, another new member join. And that new member, let's congratulate her, is Deborah Harvey. Welcome to the family, and welcome to all the other members throughout the day. Get that incredible newsletter tonight, Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time via the YouTube alert system. Stay informed, stay focused. I'll see you next at 11 a.m. in about an hour from now. That is West Coast time as home LA heats up. Bring your questions, bring your cake, bring your chocolate cake recipes, bring your Easter goodies, because we're going to have a lot of fun, and we're also going to talk about your money, recessionary pressures, and more. It's a big day, and we're just getting started. And see me tonight in prime time at 5 o'clock, and also a brand new Afternoons LATE at 3 o'clock. Stay informed, stay focused, and stay with LATE for more.